President Obama has given his final State of the Union address, and during last night's speech, the president's focus was on the future of our nation instead of current policy. THV11 contributor Lance Turner with Arkansas Business joins us now with reaction. Lance, we'll sit.
Thanks a lot, Elise. Yeah, and we're lucky enough to be joined this morning by U.S. Representative Bruce Westerman, who is calling in from Washington, D.C. this morning. Representative Westerman, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lance.
And it was
from our nation's capital.
That's right. Hey, yes, it was kind of light on specifics, but there were some specific programs thrown in there, and I wonder if you found anything in the president's speech last night you thought you'd be able to support in Congress this year.
Well, the president talked about some things that I think are important to a lot of people. He talked about our national security. He talked about the economy. These are things that a lot of people care about, but as I compared the president's previous actions to the words that he spoke last night, it seemed a little bit empty to me, Lance.
He talked a lot about, he touched on terrorism rather, and touched on, talk about the threat of groups like ISIS being a threat to the existence of America and how maybe some of that was overblown. I wonder if you have any reaction to sort of what the rhetoric has been around terrorism and its threat to America.
Yeah, well, I don't think the American people think that the threat of ISIS is overblown. I think we take this very seriously. I don't think Republicans in Congress think the threat is overblown. It's something that we need to address. If you look at this president's history on national security and on foreign relations, I think it leaves a lot to be desired. He's drawn lines in the sand that he's moved. He's gone out and negotiated on his own with a terrorist nation, with Iran. And he called ISIS the JV team. So I believe the latest poll I saw showed that over 2/3 of Americans think that he's weak on foreign policy and national security, which is a very important issue to all of America.
Looking closer to home in the economy and education, there was some meat on some proposals, it seemed, about education, free pre-K, making college more affordable. There were a lot around skilled worker training. Arkansas companies seem to be starved for skilled workers. I wonder if you found anything in that you thought might be something you could work with in Congress.
And he talked about the economy, which is extremely important. What he didn't talk about was the $19 trillion national debt, the continued deficit spending. He didn't talk about how much these additional programs were going to cost. He talked about unemployment, but he mentioned that we have more people out of the workforce than ever before. These are real issues that need to be addressed. The Congressional Budget Office says that by 2025, interest on the debt will be the single largest expenditure of the federal government. Again, a lot of the words he said were things to tickle people's ears, but I don't think there was a lot of substance to it, and certainly his record didn't back up, or doesn't back up the claims that he made.
All right, U.S. Representative Bruce Westerman of the 4th District, thanks for coming in this morning and getting up so early with us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, good to be with you, Lance. Thank you.
Thank you. And coming up after the break, we'll talk with Congressman French Hill. Back to you, Elise.
All right, Lance, thanks a lot. Stay with us. We'll have more news, weather, and also a look at those local traffic conditions right after this.